it just seems like it's happening more, or it's either being publicized more, or cities are actually cracking down more.
Thought about dumping it right then and there. And again, that's why I didn't go. So, anyways, long story short, we're still going to push forward. We're still going to try to
be scrambling around. You just bill them. This is on me, kind of a thing. And having those relationships definitely helps. But ultimately, it was like I said, it was probably the biggest.
Yo, what is going on, YouTube? This is Josh, Brian, and Dylan with American. Well, no, I'm with American AF Dumpsters.
Rhino Solutions.
North Texas Waste Removal.
North Texas Waste Removal. You got to say that. I don't know why I need a pause every time I say that.
You do, and it looks painful coming out of your mouth.
It does.
That's why
thanks for looking.
You say it this time.
So this is episode 002 of the podcast. Welcome back. You guys look a little more comfortable. Not so cold this time.
It's definitely warmer this time.
Is it a little warmer? It's colder outside though. I mean, cold front's coming in.
Outside.
So I don't know
is
if
that blocking the wind out?
I don't know if it's gonna. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna pick up the roof, but it almost sounds like my whole roof is about to be ripped off by the wind outside.
We'll see.
So, anyways,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes,
absolutely.
Excited about the new year.
I don't know about you guys, but we're busy. Mm-hmm. Like I've got one 30-yard. Well, actually, minus all the new ones. But literally, I have one 30-yard outside.
Don't put into these 10 over here, but one.
No, those small ones.
I'm definitely. I mean, obviously not as busy as I want to be, but a lot busier than I thought I would be.
For January.
Even Christmas, right after Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas to New Year's, I ran every day, and I thought I was gonna have a week off.
Yeah.
I ran every day. Like, I probably had half my dumpsters go out that week.
You think it's because temperatures? I mean, the weather's been really nice up until now.
It was really nice till today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All of mine's been commercial, but I haven't had a dumpster available in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So it's a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
No, I mean, for it being January and we have enough to. I remember last January, I was thinking just the other day what I was doing the last holidays, and I remember that's when I did the what did it call it, the French drain.
Yeah, that was already a year ago.
That was a year ago. That was a nightmare. That whole long French drain problem that I had. Kevin went out there, and we tried working on the French drain.
I worked on it for 2 weeks, and then you just hired somebody to finish it.
Yeah, and I ended up paying more than I would have the first time because he had to fix up our problems that we made. Anyways, so yeah, business is doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
nice. Brian, you recovering?
Mostly.
I saw your video.
Man.
I didn't say it. You put it out.
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm a true fan. I'm a true subscriber. Obviously, you don't get notifications because you don't hit the notification bell
on both of y'all.
Anyway, so you're good.
That trailer kicked my bottom. Yeah, it ended up fracturing right here, 2 or 3 here. I can still wiggle the tooth back and forth, and it feels like it's broke. My tooth feels like it's broken.
Yeah,
it's hard not to.
It kind of grew back in.
Yeah. But if you do, you gotta just maybe call David and have him record it. Well,
we can get a video.
We gotta have somebody.
Find a cool way to rip it out and get it on video.
Do it again.
No,
I would do it again, but we'll remove that too.
No, let's not. Let's not. I'm going to the dentist here in actually this next week, so we'll see. But yeah, it was a pretty big deal.
It's aggressive.
It sounds crazy. Yeah. Do it for the gram. You want to do it for the gram?
No.
Well, I'm glad you're doing better, man. You look better. Because the other day, last month at Wednesday at lunch, he looked like, no offense, but you look like shit.
Did I really?
Oh, yeah.
I felt
That's why I looked at you like, you all right, man? Are you good?
Yeah,
and that's
I still felt
you were hurting.
Yeah.
Well, that was only like a couple of days after.
That was Friday to Wednesday. Yeah, so a few days.
Yeah, you had me worried a little bit there.
Yeah, it wasn't expected for sure, but ended up. Hopefully everything's going to heal back. And
so I love you, right? I mean, you're
that.
good peoples. But this is the second time you've gotten your ass whooped at the landfill, isn't it?
It is, actually.
I thought about that the other day. I don't know if Brian has just had bad luck or what, but didn't you crack a rib?
Actually, it's the third time.
This guy.
I forgot about the rib. Yeah, I slipped off the scale.
Yep.
And hit my rib on that railing right there.
Yep.
And broke 2 or 3 ribs. I forgot about that. Last summer on those Texas Pride dumpsters, you know how they have the dual doors in the back? Mm-hmm. Someone had put in some sort of insulation bars that were kind of flexible, but they were 20 foot long, and my mean, my dumpster is 16 foot long. So they put them down in there under tension where it was pushing against my door. And they put in like 40 of them.
Oh.
And they're like this thick. And when I opened up that door, it came and hit me when it finally let loose and knocked me off my feet about 4 or 5 foot back. I landed on my back. That one rang my bell. It didn't knock me out like this last one. But yeah, it's number 3.
Oh my goodness. So that's preventable, though, isn't it? I mean, no offense, but when you open a door, you should not be like literally. One of the first things I learned is
Well, he's got the barn doors though.
So isn't there a way to? There's no way
they're gonna
to
open
clear
together.
it
I've almost been
because
hit by
one
my
comes
door.
open first and then the other one, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it just so happened
I guess
to be
they're both
the one.
they're both under tension.
They both were under tension, and it should have. I should have known better because it was really difficult to open them. Now I would know, but that was last summer.
First time.
And I didn't have. Yeah.
I had I learned the hard way. I didn't take my chain off first,
Yep,
and
been
I
there.
opened up my door and there was concrete. And so the latch slammed open and fell in there and it was stuck. And I couldn't get the chain out. Yeah, I've had that issue. So now that process stayed out of the way because I don't have tension. But since Josh messed with Brian about the getting his ass whooped, I need you to insert that video of him falling off the trailer.
That's as far as it goes.
So it's not just me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Definitely not. No, this year has last year was it had its moments. It's really good 2024 though.
Yeah, y'all did a bloopers reel though.
Huh?
I guess y'all did the bloopers reel.
Yeah.
So it was in there.
Like you said something about my blood pressure. I was like, what?
I did too.
Blooper, not blood pressure.
You did a blooper?
No, you.
No.
Y'all's-
I thought he said blood pressure.
Oh yeah.
No, y'all's video with all.
I was like, I didn't get that notification. These guys.
I'm a walking blooper.
Yeah.
So
You're not supposed to laugh over there.
2025.
2025. What
Yeah.
about it?
I'm excited.
Cliff Notes version of things to come, goals, changes. I think kind of hit on it last time. I think Brian helped me kind of with the decision. I'm gonna try not to buy anything this year, unless it just makes complete sense. But I think I'm gonna spend the year maximizing what I got. Be more efficient, maybe get some drivers in trucks and see. Now we're working with Ronnie. I don't know if my demographic's going to add more residential stuff, 15s and 20s, because I'm going to be actually ranking right now on the deal with contractors, so 30s and 40s is a no-brainer. But I think we'll just wait and see where this year leads, and I might end up buying a small truck next. It's kind of my deal. I don't have any big plans other than just get my mind right, get more efficient where I'm at now. So maybe not any growth this year.
Maybe not any growth.
Yeah, like equipment growth.
Equipment
Maybe
growth,
just-
but definitely more
Revenue
revenue
growth.
growth.
Right.
Yeah.
Work on perfecting the current machine.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah, mine's adding equipment. So I have it in my goals. My business plan for 2025 is a lot bigger than it was for 2024. And I'm holding off. I've pretty much finished it, other than I'm holding off because a friend of mine recommended a book, and it has to do with business plans. So I'm finishing up reading it to making sure I don't want to tweak my 2025 business plan. But yeah, it's pretty much done, and mine's basically, of course, revenue growth is in there, going from that 160 to 250 this next year. And then to take on 13 more 25 yards with without getting a loan, paying for them with cash, doing that dumpster snowball that I was talking about, and seeing if I can accomplish increasing my inventory of dumpsters by 13 without any additional loans or financing. So that's pretty much my goals this year. We'll see.
good.
And then,
Good one.
yeah, we'll see how it works.
You're at 7.
Yeah, I'm just at 7 right
So
now, so
that
that put
would-
me 20 of total,
Right. So looking at tripling your inventory this year.
pretty much. Yes, tripling my inventory, and then being able to keep those busy. And I think that's
So I did all
very
that last year.
doable.
That's why I'm not doing it right now. I'm like, I probably need to calm down.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same jump I did last year. So I'm like, okay, let's get all these more efficient before I keep buying more.
Yeah, and I think doing it this way also is smart financially, but it's also gives me time to build that business where it's not a slap in the face. If I was to go out to Keystone and buy 13 25s, I would have a whole bunch of them just sitting there, and that would bother me. And it might motivate me a little bit more, but it would bother me. Doing it this way gives me time to build the additional customer base and increase my revenue as I bring in dumpsters.
So because your normal orders got usually 6 week lead time on average, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. Are you going to try to schedule that so that you're getting one a month, or are you going to try to do 2 and 3 at a time? Or
no? So I'm gonna order this one probably next week. Just one.
Okay.
And then the money that's generated from that minus taxes, I'm not going to include taxes in that, but the money that's generated, all that money goes straight into a savings account.
So total,
everything.
Okay. I'm saying because you got dump fees and everything, or you're just pulling the profit. Or
no, I'm pulling total revenue and putting that in the savings account. And as soon as I can buy the second one, I pay cash for the second one. Then I use the total revenue minus taxes from 2 to buy the next one. And then use the total revenue to 3. So that's why I'm calling it like a dumpster snowball, where it really snowballs.
I don't know if you're going to do a couple at a time, because if you order one now, you're going to get it March, probably end of February.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you run that one for a month or so,
yes.
Then April you're going to order another one, which you're not going to get till May.
Yes.
And
so at first it's going to be very slow.
Man, but come May.
Yes. Then I'll be ordering one probably in 2 or 3 weeks after that.
But then you're going to wait 6 weeks, so you're going to get most of them towards the end of the year when you're slowing back down.
Most of them, yes. And it might be that if I'm able to generate that revenue much quicker than I thought, that I'm moving those dumpsters more regular.
Right.
That I do order 2 or 3 at a time.
I was almost thinking order one as soon as possible and go ahead and order another one, so in 6 to 8 weeks that one's ready, not ordering it in 6 to 8 weeks. Because I think come May, you're going to want as many as you can. When you pick one up, go ahead and order the next one, because you pay for it when you pick it up. That gives you 6 to 8 weeks to pay for it.
Yeah, that would definitely save me a month or 2.
Come May, June, July, you're going to want as many on hand as you can get.
That's a fact, because I'm going to be busy.
That's a good plan. I like the cash aspect to that. Obviously, I've played with different loans, and like I said last time, I hate turning down work. If I'm sold out, I panic.
Yes.
But then I panic when I got dumpsters sitting in the yard too, so I'm screwed either way. But that's why I think I grew pretty fast last year. So I think this year it's okay. Let's kind of recollect and perfect what we've got before adding more to it.
Yeah, and that's
my trucks, and I'm the only driver. That doesn't make any sense. So let's utilize everything. Better asset utilization. Let them pay for themselves a little better.
Yeah, and that's my three keywords this year I'm focusing on are people, profit, and professionalism. And so still building those relationships and really hitting my people hard and letting them know that, hey, I'm there for you as far as my commercial guys. What can I do to better serve you? And bringing on more people as far as more commercial clients, and then really maintaining that profitability as high as I possibly can. So, and that, to me, that's keeping my loans down where I can keep my profitability high. And it might take me a little bit longer to grow, but that's okay.
Well, and that saves you like I said, we're busier now than we thought, but in the wintertime, if you're not making all those additional payments, those dumpsters in the yard don't hurt your feelings near as bad.
That's a fact. It doesn't sting.
Well, I've gotten to the point where it's I don't like dumpsters sitting in the yard, right? But I have 20 of them, give or take, right now sitting here, maybe even more. I've got the new ones I got over there that I have to put the doors on, but the rest of them are mostly all the small ones. So I've got 15s, 20s, and 25s. But I do know if a freeze comes tomorrow and we have all kinds of pipe break, I'm hoping for a big freeze.
That is,
then you have enough when you have a good amount, at least when the shit does hit the fan, right? And when the time gets when it comes to getting busy in the springtime, then hopefully everything will be rolling along. I don't like turning away business, and I want to be. Now I'm at the point where I want to be prepared, versus just sold out all the time. And there's not. there's a difference, but there's also not. Like, I don't mean it in a, being sold out is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I also want to have, enough inventory now where I can really turn it up if I need to.
And that's kind of what pushed me last year, was that being able to say you're sold out was cool. It's like I'm using everything, but I missed so much work because I was sold out. Then that bothered me more than I felt good, I guess, for being sold out.
Well, being sold out is different for everybody, right? I mean, obviously it's different. It's not, being sold out is great, but it's not great if you have one dumpster. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just, but it just depends on where you're at.
Sold out at most was I had 14, and like that was great, but I'd still stress out because I was still missing opportunities. So it's okay, get more dumpsters, and buying them going into winter. I knew that I was fixing to get a lot back, but that was my deal. Come spring, when the phone rings, I'll be in a better position, not turning so much down, being sold out again in May.
I haven't been sold out since before I went on vacation. So to the point where everything's been out, everything's out. So I mean for both trucks, and mainly because of my 25s. Because if people want a 25, they're going to book a 30. You know what I'm saying? The only time they book 25s is when, anyways, that's a whole other story. But when I don't have 30s.
Or get this guy over here.
No, I would much rather have 30s.
He's slinging than 25s.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm making it work.
I know.
Yeah, it's out of necessity.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you make it work. You make it work. And I was too before I got the 30s. They were going out all the time. But now that I got 30s, I mean, a 5-yard difference. Most people want the 30.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm definitely doing it this way. There's pros and cons no matter what way you choose to do it. And choosing to do it this way this year, there's going to be times I feel like that either I'm reluctant to build my customer base because I don't have the dumpsters available and it would make me look bad, or have to turn away work. And so I think there's that fine line that you have to walk as far as what's available versus or how many dumpsters I have versus how busy I am. And you don't want to just have a whole bunch of dumpsters and not have the work for it, but you also don't want to be in the position I'm at right now where I don't have a dumpster available. If someone calls me tomorrow, I can't help them.
Right.
So bringing in debt, to me, I think I'm going a little bit far and worrying about it a little bit too much when I could bring in a little bit of debt by, let's just say 5 initially, and then start doing snowball as far as the rest of the year, and I would have those dumpsters early on and not have to turn away work. So there's definitely different ways of approaching it, but
I want to comment on 2 things you just said. One, I think it's great if you're getting these relationships with 25s, if you can get, I don't want to use the word settle, but you're getting contractors to settle for a 25 because you don't have a 30. That's great. If you do decide to go tandem in 30s, you're already going to have work for those 30s.
Yes.
Which is going to make it easier to justify $100,000+ truck and the insurance and the dumpsters, because you're not going to buy the truck and then go find the work. You're going to already have people that would love to take 30s if you had them.
Yes.
So one, that's going to make it a lot easier. Say 2026, 2027, whenever you get ready to make that jump, you're going to have customers already justify that truck. So that's really smart. The other side, especially since you started the YouTube channel, by you documenting things the way you do and being open, say, hey, I'm not going to take out loans, we're going to cash flow this. I'm not going to name any names, but I have talked to guys that wanted to grow, that wanted to get a truck, get out of a trailer, get a truck, or get more dumpsters. They don't have the credit. So getting a loan is not an option. They can't. So you're doing it by choice, but you're going to show guys that you can cash flow all this and grow. Be patient, and look, you can do it with cash. So we went the other way. I mean, Josh and I have talked multiple times. It's like, hey, if it's paying for itself, good debt, bad debt, how we justified doing it. But, which, I mean, you understand all that, but you've chosen not to, which is great. If everything goes to crap, we still got a payment to make, and you don't. But I just think it's cool that that's kind of going to hit just a different angle. That, hey, you don't have to finance everything.
No, I never even thought about
slower,
that.
But I'm going to show you can do this cash. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I never even thought about that aspect of it. So, yeah, you're right. I appreciate that.
Well, you want to talk on? You want a little bit of an update on some of the city stuff, or you want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah. So my observation, like I said, it was real quiet when I first started looking into this business going on 5 years ago. I didn't even know about the franchise stuff, the city franchise agreements. Then during my research, you hear a little bit about it, but not much. Like, it must not be that big of a deal. Didn't personally ever find people online that had citations or dumpsters impounded. It was like, oh, well, a friend of mine's dumpster got impounded in, I think it was Plano or something. But I'm like, obviously it's not that big of a deal. It seems like the more we have brought this up, I don't know if it's just more people coming out and talking about it, but I don't think so. It seems like almost like we're bringing light to it, which we were talking before this started. Is that going to make things better or worse? Better before they get, worse before they get better. Because Josh had his impounded. He posted a video of another one getting impounded this morning. We've had another guy that Josh did a video with that is facing $42,000 in fines from his city. It just seems like it's happening more, or it's either being publicized more, or cities are actually cracking down more. So I'm kind of wondering if anybody else has noticed that. Obviously, we kind of know the plan. We have the petition that not enough of y'all have signed. But that's online. We can all reshare it today, or whenever some of the video's going to drop, we'll reshare it. But we got to speak up against the cities, get the state involved if we have to, have a game plan, because it is said Brian lost multiple dumpsters on a couple projects because the city run them out. I fortunately, where I'm at, most of my stuff is county. I kind of get in the cities sometimes, so I haven't had as much issue. But there is still some by me that, they're threatening $2,000 a day fine. You can't run anything in their town. And so I'm just wondering, have y'all noticed, does it seem like it has, in the last 2 years, has there been actually more city action, you think?
So there's actually, I don't know what the word is. Maybe we can research it and put it,
add it at the bottom.
Add it here. But
say it right here.
there's like a psychological effect that goes on, that let's say you buy a brand new truck, you know what I'm saying, and as soon as you're driving the truck, now you're seeing it everywhere you go. You buy a new trailer, and you didn't notice that there were that many roll-off trailers, and as soon as you bought your roll-off trailer and you got in the roll-off business, then all of a sudden you're starting to see all these trailers all over the place, and everybody's doing it now. And it's not so much that everybody's doing it now, it's just that you're noticing it more. I think that's part of it.
Well, even the
I definitely think that
what's being shared.
Well, in the Facebook groups, and again, it's because we also just created a whole page just for that, right? So now people they have an outlet to kind of talk about and post it. So I don't know if it's new or it's becoming more. I do know that, and I gotta be careful with what I say, because I've gotten several phone calls, and I'm not trying to risk my business, right? At the end of the day, I still have a business that I'm trying to do. So I think if I press too many buttons,
you just want to put target on yourself.
Yeah, and I have, right? That's number one. And number two, there's a lot of things that are in play, and I think that with the video that I put out, right, with the whole mesquite issue, they were trying to quiet it down, is my understanding. They didn't want it to get any further than it did. They were extremely nice when we called and when Daniel went to go pick up the dumpster. They waived the daily fees because we did not.
It sat there for a while.
Yeah, it sat there for a while. I really was weighing my options, and I contacted several people to see what I could do. And at the end of the day, I had to have it picked up. I'm not just going to keep my assets sitting over there. And I didn't want it to last 30 days to the point where they had an excuse to sell it, right? So I paid the $400. They waived the daily rate fee for us. and they were really nice to Daniel apparently, and whatever. I didn't go myself because I didn't trust myself to go over there and not do something that would get me in more trouble, right? So I did cop out, and I sent my driver out there to pick it up. I thought it was just less drama and less BS. We didn't record it. We didn't do anything. Am I going to stop talking about it? No, I think I'm going to push it even harder, because you're not going to back me into a wall and threaten us and threaten my business and think that I'm just going to shut up. So while we've had a break during the holidays, my time has been really pulled away in different places. So I haven't been able to really push it much more. But we're going to be coming up with an update video. We're going to talk about how it got impounded, and we're going to talk about how we went and picked it up, how we, what do you say? What's the word? We swallowed our pride and went and paid them their money. I did pay with American Express, so I really thought about just doing a chargeback and dispute. But I'm not going to do that either. I told Daniel too. I mean, if he has any kind of inclination, if he wants to dump it right there where he picked it up, he's more than welcome to. I will bail him out of the jail, but he obviously, I'm not going to put that on him to do that either, right? I didn't expect him. I didn't want him to get any kind of trouble or anything like that for my fight. This is not his fight, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, I mean, we thought about dumping it right then and there, and again, that's why I didn't go. So anyways, long story short, we're still going to push forward. We're still going to try to do what we can. If you guys have a story, if you guys know of anything, if you guys are getting threatened, bullied, pushed, which I've been there, we can't let them bully us. And they've taken it to another level. And when this all stuff does come out, it's gonna come out it's gonna really come out. But anyways, if you're in that situation, reach out to us as well. Let us know. We want to document it for you. If you want to remain anonymous, you can. We won't put your name out there. I didn't put the guy's name out there who sent me the video of what was the city again? Gainesville? Greenville. I didn't put out his information. I put out the video, obviously, with his approval. He didn't want to be named on that post at all.
And that's like what you're saying, swallowing your pride, getting up. Like at the end of the day, that's an asset that needs to make money. The story is out there. It's kind of funny. Not funny. How do I say it? But that you said they were trying to quiet it. They didn't want it to get any bigger. Obviously, they don't want their city stuff anything bad about their city going around social media. And you've got a decent amount of followers, so people were following that. But at the same time, we have to find a balance, because if I feel too passive on the situation, say, oh, sorry, it won't happen again, that hurts us because other cities are doing it as well. Mm-hmm. It's not just Mesquite. We're battling this everywhere. I know.
Kaufman.
We're all in Texas. We're battling our area, but I know people in other states are too. And so collectively we can help fight Texas. But how do we be serious and move forward without putting a target on our back, without being aggressive? I'm with you. I would have been kind of mad at the whole situation if it was my dumpster. I probably would have been tempted to dump it out there, or at least let them know what I thought about them on my way. But how do we be aggressive but be professional and make things happen? I guess that's going to be our challenge moving forward, because we got to be loud. We've got to draw attention. We've got to get the attention of people that can actually help us make a change.
Well, that's where the petition comes in, right? Because I can't go up to the lawmaker. I forgot her name again. But
state
so
rep?
bad. Yeah, I can't go up to her with 170 signatures on a petition, right? I mean, it's got to be 500 or 1,000 signatures on this petition. That's where that comes in. We can't do anything on the city level. We're not gonna fight every individual city.
Right.
We're not gonna win every city. It needs to change from the top down. And that's where we have to go and talk to the state, the legislator, whatever her position is. So the plan is to really reach. The only way that can change and is my understanding is going to a state rep like Shelley Luther is who we're trying to go to. So if we can have enough petition signatures to go and meet her in person and go with, hey, it's not just us. It's not just a group of guys. It's not just a group of, guys who feel like we've been wronged by these cities. It's, we've got over 1,000 signatures here behind us. Let's sit down and talk about it.
Representing at least 1,000 businesses.
That's all we need, is just to sit down and talk.
Because I know that the state small business division through the governor's office, when I went to that not conference, but basically that get together, the governor's small business expo, I was expecting them, as far as they're the ones that were supposed to have our backs, and they just kind of really blew me off on that deal, and it really surprised me. Would love to be able to reach back out to them, and but it was really surprising how quick they dismissed me. Even with me saying that we're talking about dozens and dozens and dozens just in the Kaufman business is being impacted, just in the Kaufman area, and their whole stance is basically the state laws there as a minimum. Cities can go above and beyond that, but this isn't the state law. The way that you sent that to me was. They weren't going above; they were going contrary to.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and there's a huge difference of making something a little bit more strict and doing something that's contrary to state law. And that to me is where the differentiation is between this. You can increase the age of someone that wants to get a driver's license as far as the city can, but because they're making it more strict. But you can't say, well, you just can't get a driver's license. That's going contrary to what the state says that you can or can't do.
So that's like
So basically the cities are saying, screw you, state of Texas, we're just going to do whatever we want.
Right.
Looks like the EPA has their guidelines, their rules. TCEQ is, for Texas, they are stricter than the EPA. They used to do the hazmat cleanup. EPA stuff's actually pretty easy. It's everybody always talks about the EPA. Their stuff's lenient compared to TCEQ. They're a lot stricter. And they can do that. They can go more strict. But from my understanding, and I could be wrong, not looking at it, but from my understanding, in the state rulings for the franchise agreements, it excludes C&D, temporary construction.
Exactly.
And so if they wouldn't have put that in there would be a way for the cities, I think, to take that over. But the state specifically excluded that, so therefore they are contradicting it. Like I said, if that little bit wasn't in there, the cities would have a lot better leg to stand on. But that part should protect us, and that's what we're kind of standing on.
My biggest thing is when people watch our videos or when we're talking about this, people are real quick to comment, you guys aren't going to change anything. I mean, this has been going on for decades, if not longer, right? Yep. Everything goes on until it doesn't. Like everything goes on until it's challenged. And I know it's been challenged before. And it's been challenged in multiple different ways, multiple different people, multiple different cities. So we're trying our way. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, well, it's just our time. And at least we tried. Yeah. And I really, really want to... My biggest goal is really to just create more awareness about it, because, like you said, we didn't know about this before we started. A lot of people didn't. Homeowners don't know about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, property owners have no idea that they're being forced to just use one company. Again,
and at the end, they're the ones really getting screwed.
They're the ones getting screwed. What if the city came to you and told you can only use AT&T and not Verizon, or you couldn't use T-Mobile? Which nobody wants to use T-Mobile because I use them now and I'm stuck in the contract. But my point is, like, who's the city to tell me where I can spend my money on? Right. You know what I'm saying? This is my property. And that video, having a private tow company come on, if that's my house, having a private tow company come onto my property and remove a dumpster that I paid for, you'd be damn lucky if you walked off my property without having a new hole on your body. Like, there's no way you're going to come onto my property. I don't care who you are, without my permission. So they're putting those people in danger. I mean, I just, until something major happens like that, I'm not saying, I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying that something's major, something's going to happen, and that's not okay. It's not okay to allow private companies. And I'll just say one more thing, and we can go. We can take this somewhere else too, because I don't want. I don't think we should.
Spend the whole
spend the whole podcast on it. But there are people in our Facebook group that work for the companies that that are really pushing the cities to enforce these rules, and they're enforcing them themselves. Some cities enforce the contract with the franchisee or the franchise company. The cities will enforce it, but some cities just allow the franchisee company to enforce it themselves. For example, you've got, let's say, Mesquite. Mesquite enforces it themselves.
Right.
But there are other cities that say, look, we've got a contract with Republic. Hey, Republic, it's up to you to enforce this contract. So Republic will be the one to send other dumpster companies cease and desist letters. Republic will be the one to send a tow company out to tow the dumpster.
Or stop
Republic,
at an intersection and get out of the truck.
Bro, this ain't the old days, but I guarantee you, you're not stopping me. Yeah,
it's happened.
let somebody try. This is just, you're messing with the wrong person sometimes. I don't know. My point is, so there's some of these people there's people in our group that I've been flagged and told, hey, why don't you kick this person off? This guy, he's the enemy. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to the extremes there. You want to watch, you can watch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know who you are. And like, they were one of us. They all started like us. And I'm specifically talking about the company that's in your area.
Yes, I know who.
You know what I'm saying? They were one of us. So to start off like one of us and then be the biggest proponent or the biggest advocate for this, I get it. They're lining their pockets. They're making,
and that's all it boils down to. They're looking at profit or revenue for themselves over what's right and what's wrong, what's not necessarily.
And they're paying a pretty penny to get that exclusive agreement too. They're paying a lot of money out of pocket.
They were also on our show. I mean, on our side at the beginning, and they knew what an impact it was, and they knew ultimately it probably wasn't right. They knew ultimately it wasn't right and how that felt. And for them to flip that switch just over money is, I just don't understand that.
And to be as nasty as they are about it too, because
I just do not understand that thinking. Either it's right or it's wrong, and it shouldn't be. Well, it's wrong when I'm the one suffering, but it's right when I'm the one that's able to make money and profit off of it. And that's just a horrible way of thinking about things.
So I can understand it though, like. Because, thinking about, okay, so if they did spend years starting like us, they did jump through the same hoops that we're having to, and they did win the franchise agreement in certain areas. So they put in the time and the work to get to that level. I understand. They instead of trying to fix the system, they worked the system to get to where they're at. So, I mean, kudos for you. I'm not knocking you on that at all. But, hey, wouldn't it have been nice to not deal with that? And I understand, like, if we get rid of that. So and I'm talking about, like, Republic, wait a minute, the smaller companies that did grow to the point of getting those, if we do find a way to get rid of the franchise agreements and stuff, it's almost like, do we all get a participation trophy? We didn't have to put in the work to build the business around the loopholes. Maybe, but not everybody's going to make it anyways. And not everybody wants the whole city. I don't want the whole city. I don't even want to get big enough to worry about having the whole franchise agreement.
Well, franchise agreements, I think, are important when you start
with residential
and commercial. Because when you start thinking about something, let's just say, take a city the size of let's take Mesquite out of it. You take a city the size of Garland. You have over 250,000 people in the city of Garland, right? Having 250,000 people in business, thousands and thousands of businesses in a city, and for it basically be a free for all of where you get your trash, who you choose to get your trash picked up, seems chaotic to me. There will be a lot more trucks on the road and things along those lines, and it would be just chaos as far as who do I call to get my weekly trash picked up. What are they going to charge? All that kind of stuff. And you have all these different companies. But temporary waste is something that's completely different than that. I think having that organization and having one company come in to do weekly residential and commercial trash pickup, I can see where that's a benefit to a city, and I can also see where it's a benefit to most of the citizens that don't really care about that. But the temporary waste, that's above and beyond.
But even with the residential, say your front end loaders and your totes, if they still are locked in at paying whatever, if the service is horrible, like where I'm at, I've had service that was crap. They're charging me to service it every week, and they didn't show up every week, so they didn't want to discount. I'm like, hey, if you only show up half the time, I'm paying half my bill.
Yes.
They didn't like that, so I switched companies. Obviously, like in town, they're going to be a little more consistent. But if the service sucks, I used to have them drop my trash cans from 6 feet up, and then they break.
Yes.
And then it takes me 6 months to get a new replacement, and I'm dealing with a broke trash can the whole time. If the franchise agreement, I understand the truck traffic safety side of it as far as that goes, but I still don't like the fact that people aren't able to have a say or price shop or whatever. If it's going to be a city franchise, heck, at least let people vote what company they want to use, not who buys their way in through the city.
Yeah, and I think that some of that is already there. I mean, you can make your position known to your council members and your city manager if you're having issues, and if enough people are having issues, then they can, when that contract's up for renewal, they can say, hey, we've had these issues. We're going to choose to go with somebody else this next time. But
have you ever had an issue? I mean, I don't know if you've lived in towns. I lived in neighborhoods most of my life. I never once thought to go to city council with a trash company. I just called and grabbed it then. So
yes, but that's the only way you're going to be able to affect change, and
who
whoever
knows that or who thinks about that? They don't.
They don't. My biggest thing is, since the video that I posted about Mesquite, since I got impounded, I have since signed an agreement, and I'm working with Richardson, so I'm an approved franchisee, I guess you can say, for Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that Richardson doesn't just doesn't just allow one company to do that. Like, I don't mind the whole pay to play. I mean, we pay our taxes, we pay taxes on top of taxes, we pay pay for fees, we pay for everything as it is anyways. Not that I want to pay for more, but as long as it's open for everybody, as long as it's open game and free and fair, and if you have to pay, you got to pay. Look, when I had a limo company, I had to pay the city of Dallas thousands and thousands of dollars in order to have my limo company licensed in Dallas, to be able to operate and pick up passengers in Dallas. I get it. Was it a pain in the ass? Yeah. Was it a lot of money? Yes. But if I wanted to operate in that city, I had to pay their fees. Understood. But to tell me that I can't even operate in your city because even though I'm a legal business, I have every single insurance coverage, I have every single piece of paper, licensing, I have everything that I need, same as that guy does, but yet he can be the only one to operate in your city. That I have a problem with. When you're talking about city trash pickups, and I understand that as well. As long as every single company has an opportunity to bid, you know what I'm saying? As long as there's a fair bidding process to win over a contract. But the way that Waste Management, and I've heard literally Republic wrote the contract for many of the cities that they have a franchise agreement with. They actually wrote, their own attorneys wrote it to the point where it's 5 year contracts. But in order for the city to get out, they have to do it like 2 years before the contract expires. Otherwise, it automatically renews for another 5 years or 10 years or whatever that may be. So they make it almost impossible for the city to cancel the agreement. So that's where I have a big issue with. That's my biggest gripe is, again, just like City of Dallas. City of Dallas is open. You want to play in Dallas, you've got to be an approved vendor. Most of us aren't, but you're supposed to be. And I'm hearing that they're going to start enforcing that soon. So pay to play, fine. Tell me I can't because you own the sandbox. I got an issue.
Yeah, and you're completely right.
Reasonable rates too. We've heard of some.
Right.
I don't know any local, but some that were really high percentages and stuff. I do understand that. The other thing with franchise, before we skip, whenever a city has a franchise, I can understand it for the residential. I can understand it for the front end loaders because they can hit multiple stops with one trip into town or one trip through town, multiple stops. When it comes to roll offs, it's one truck per can. That's it. No matter
Yes.
who's doing it.
Right. It's going to be a truck no matter what.
That truck, that can, like, whether it's one of ours, wherever, it doesn't minimize the
Hopefully
amount
mine.
of truck traffic at all when it's roll-offs.
No, not at
So
all.
I don't see how that is even included in. Even if a customer wants to roll off on their property year round, one truck, one can, like that. That's the math on that. So by including that into the franchise doesn't change the public health or
No.
public safety aspect.
The only people that benefits is the company that has that agreement.
Right.
That's
Yes.
the only one.
And the city, because they're getting a kickback from that company. But they
But if
wouldn't.
the city opened it up to every single company, to all of us that want to work in that city
Buy
and
in
actually
and
paid,
pay.
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Then at the end of the day, I don't see how they would not make money. They'd still make money, maybe even more, depending on what the fee is. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I don't
it's definitely a headache, and it's definitely something that we're going to have to address, and it's going to help if we get the backing of not only dumpster companies but other people that affect commercial roofers. It doesn't matter, remodelers, restoration companies, anybody who is out there using roll-off dumpsters. Do y'all want to be dictated to how much you have to pay?
Right.
How much overages you have to, all these crazy overages, all that. I mean, I got a call from where your dumpster was sitting in Crandall, the guy who was putting a QT in. He was saying, is there anything you can do? Because the company there in Crandall was not only charging them a lot for the dumpster, their overages were extremely high compared to me. And they weren't allowing them to, they were just charging whenever they wanted to on a credit card on file. So they were just taking everything away. He says, is there anything you can do to help me out over here? Because I could save a lot of money. My dumpsters wouldn't sit, and I could pay you when I want to pay you. I said, well, sorry. That's something that you're just going to have to talk to Crandall about, City of Crandall.
Make a pile and then live load.
Yeah, and so it's just, until roofers and builders and all that start to get sick and tired of it too, that's when it's really going to change.
Even homeowners. We've
Yes.
heard multiple stories.
Even
where
homeowners.
Their prices are almost double ours.
Yes,
How's that fair to the citizens?
it's not.
Right. And so we're getting screwed. They're getting screwed, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and cities are padding a $60 million company, padding their pocketbooks,
Right.
in comparison to all the small businesses they're affecting. So,
Right.
Texas was one of the last states I thought would do something. I would
Yes.
never have thought Texas would be like that. But
it is what it is right now.
That's right.
But it's
We'll
not going to
figure it
stay
out.
there.
we'll keep on doing what we do. Any hot topics ever on the Facebook page? If you're not on Dumpster Rentals 101, you should be. If you don't follow Brian's page, Facebook page, or YouTube page, YouTube channel, let's edit all that out. If you don't follow,
You're not on North Texas Waste Solutions.
Waste Solutions. Yeah, if you're not following Josh Ronan.
there you go. There you go.
I tell you one thing. The one thing, when I was looking back over my business plan, one of the first things I do is I review the year before I make my business plan. And one of the biggest impacts as far as stress as well as impact to my business was downtime and equipment. That's what affected me probably more than anything this last year. And coming up with ways of minimizing that has been an extreme challenge for me, outside of just buying 3 trucks and having 2 backups. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, so you get rid of the Chevy. And
Oh my gosh, here we go.
My Dodge.
Buy a Dodge would help a lot.
Actually, my truck's in the shop. It's been in the shop
I was
since
wondering where
Tuesday.
the new is at. See, that's why I'll buy
Your
a
new
Ford
one?
next. Yeah. I'll buy a Ford. But anyways.
Yeah, that belt on that Dodge. I mean, I guess every truck's got its Achilles heel, and that serpentine belt on that
the
Chevy is just kicking my butt. I could already hear it squeaking again. But that's the one thing that probably impacted me more than anything was either downtime on the truck or downtime on my trailer, because I have one of each, and that has been hard.
So I was on the fence because I've had mine go to the shop, 2-3 days here and there, and had issues that needed to be addressed, but I couldn't put the truck down. And so it was kind of, I knew to grow, realistically I needed to plan on getting a truck for 2025. But when Dustin's truck went down, and he was down, 2 weeks, I think, almost 8 days or something like that. That's when I was like, man, all right, I'm gonna buy this truck. And because that was the deal. I mean, 8 days is a long time. And I think that's what it was, 8 days. But anyways, his downtime is what pushed me to have a backup truck.
And it's not only the loss of revenue. It puts you in a position where you look much less professional.
Yep.
With these commercial clients that you have. That this guy's kind of a fly by night. He's got one. If something happens, he's completely out of commission, and so it makes you look bad. And that to me is just as bad as just not being able to deliver a dumpster, especially to my residential clients. I can pawn those off. Right. The huge and the real impact was to my commercial clients, and I'm trying to build a relationship and trying to look as professional as I possibly can. So
how are you going to fix that?
I don't know. I know I'm as far as maintenance goes, my truck is maintained very well. That will, over the course of a long run, help. Same thing with my trailer. I keep the maintenance on my trailer, but it's just to the point where I use it so much. I had a spring crack day before yesterday on my trailer. I went to go and it put me in a jam where I had to do 3 dumping returns yesterday because of it, to keep my commercial clients, keep those dumpsters emptied. So it really pushed it off. It could have been a lot worse.
I was wondering why I kept seeing you to
Oh my gosh, yeah. We saw each other twice yesterday. Yeah. And it's just outside of maintaining and putting money aside to be able to pay people to help, or buying more equipment just as a backup.
Even in the busy season, though, like if we're running hard, we don't have time to run your.
I get it.
That makes it difficult. That was when you had your blowout. When Josh called me, it was like a Friday afternoon, and I was like, "Yeah, I can come help you, but it's gonna be later." I think my wife went with me. I think we showed up we just did a dumper return for him. Not granted, we're 100 miles away, but I mean, it was 10:30 at night, I think, before I was finished with my work and come down here to help him.
Yes.
Thank goodness the landfills over here were open, but I mean, that makes it tough. That was just to do one dumpster.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to cover your whole day on top of everybody else, like that would be really tough.
Yeah, I did the same thing for Chris the other day. His was down, and so I went out and delivered one of my dumpsters to a hotel that he has a relationship with, and did that and say, hey, you don't worry about it. I know what it's like to be scrambling around. You just bill them. This is on me, kind of a thing. And having those relationships definitely helps. But ultimately, it was like I said, it was probably the biggest impact on my business is my downtime.
And that is tough too, because even like you said, saving the money, you could pay other people if they're available. Having the money to fix your equipment, do the repairs isn't an issue.
No.
You got to order a part. Even if it takes 2 days. 2 days in busy season is a long time.
Yeah, you're talking $4,000 or $5,000
right.
running solo.
How long was your truck in the shop for a belt?
Almost 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
See, I never understood that though. Why was your truck in the shop for a belt for that long?
Because of friendly Chevrolet.
Trying to get
but a
warranty
belt
covered. Warranty.
Oh, see, but I mean, at that point, would it have been cheaper just to have a mechanic put in a new belt and be done with it?
He should have just done it on the side of the road to save him time.
Or yank it and take it somewhere else that didn't have the warranty. But it was one of those things, well, it's going to be ready tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow comes around. Oh, it's going to be ready, and it just kept pushing out. But yeah, it was all friendly Chevrolet. Don't ever buy anything from friendly Chevrolet or take your stuff there.
I know a guy that has kind of a trailer business, and maybe we convince him into renting out some standard rail.
Yeah, you would think
trailers.
So. Yeah,
I was just thinking that. That sounds like a business opportunity.
3/4 ton truck, standard rail cable. But I mean, really, and Josh and I have actually had this conversation about something similar to that. I don't know if I want to say it. Dumpster rental. If which I've talked to Bram about it too. Like, hey,
we're all in dumpster rentals.
No, I'm getting there. But like when I ordered dumpsters because I was sold out, it's like, hey, Bram's making me dumpsters, but they're gonna be ready in 6 weeks. it sure would be cool if they had a few I could rent from them in the meantime.
Or a truck.
Because yeah, we've talked about that too, with them. And then so Josh and I talked about, like, I had a conversation with Will Dolan the other day. It was yesterday. I don't know. But he has a potential big job coming. He's trying to get confirmation, and he thinks he might have enough lead time to order dumpsters to cover if everything goes. He said, if not, I might be 1 or 2 dumpsters short. Would you consider renting me a dumpster? He's like, even if I got to pay double, I need to get this job done if I land it. I was like, well, I've considered that. Like, I'll rent it to you for a month. Whatever you do with it in that month,
Yes.
you're liable for damages. If you can re-rent it 5 or 6 times that month, great. You owe me a monthly rental at what I would normally rent it
Exactly.
for a month at.
But that would be a huge blessing to
That way
somebody.
I get my month rental, and he can rent it, 4 weeks. So I told him we'd figure out and make a month-to-month plan. But to have a trailer, a truck, or another tandem, like, connections for that, yeah, 'cause downtime's horrible for small business like us, where we got, even Josh has a couple of trucks he runs every day, but they can't both do the same thing.
No, if his big truck
tandem
went down,
goes
look what would happen.
right, or if the little one goes down, the tandem can't haul your smallest, your 14 footers. So either way, like, mine will haul any size, but if without a spare truck, if it goes down, I couldn't even call Josh because not all of mine are hooked. So it is tough. So to have connections to get people to run them, or, like Josh said, business opportunity, maybe start renting some out. But do you have you come up with a idea on, might not even necessarily be this year, but how are you going to remedy that?
It's basically just moving forward. The scale of the business itself will put reserves in place.
Mm-hmm.
So my next step would probably be a medium-size single axle truck.
Okay. And
right?
keep your trailer as the
And
backup.
keep my trailer as a backup. So when I'm at the point where I can no longer keep up as a driver, hire a driver, and then me go part-time with my trailer. And once I get to the point to where I'm at full-time, buy another truck, drop down to part-time. I think that's similar to what you're doing.
He's the one to talk about that.
Yes.
That's my goal this year too, is get out of the truck full-time and get somebody in there.
So there would be that reserve built into that process, and even with one of them going down, the impact wouldn't be as high,
Right.
Because I still have one that can work. Even though I might need 2 that day, at least I can get
It's
something
going to be
done.
a long day.
Yeah.
Hit your priority spots.
I think it's just literally growing pains. I think all of us go through the same exact growing pains. People that are watching that are just starting out, if they haven't, they're going to. It's like, we're making decent money, or we're making okay money, enough to, have a little bit of profit, pay off some of our bills, but we definitely don't have enough to go out and buy double the equipment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a growing pains that, at some point, the revenue, like you said, will come in more than enough to pay off that second piece of equipment, and then the driver. But it's definitely a process.
Well, that's what I was wondering. That's what I was kind of more getting at, because you said getting a truck. I didn't know if, like on the groups and stuff, you'll see trailers, like Walter just sold an identical trailer to yours.
He tried to sell it to me.
Well, that's
He's
why
got the truck too.
What?
He's got the truck too.
Yeah,
Yes.
But that's why I didn't know if you were going to go ahead and get a backup trailer, and then you can borrow a truck, or rent a truck or whatever. If depending on what your issue is, it's cheaper to have a spare trailer than to have a truck.
Yes.
That's what I meant when I said, what was your plan?
My plan is to buy a medium-sized truck and then
not
use my
a
trailer
Okay.
as
Are you
the
looking at doing that
backup.
this year, next? Were you thinking?
Well, my goal is
No, it was.
because
That's why I said that.
because if I can get to the point where adding on these dumpsters, get to the point where I just can't keep up, and if I can't keep up, then that's when I'm going to buy a truck.
So that
and
might
then
be a
drive
2025.
That
move.
very
Okay.
well possibly could be.
That's why I knew originally. After the showcase, you had said that you were thinking about doing it this spring or summer, possibly.
Yes.
And then we talked about CDL, non-CDL, and I didn't know if that was still in the potential 2025 plan.
It is, but that's going to be based on the scalability of my company and how much growth I get. If it has to wait to spring of 2026, and that's what, but it won't be from a lack of trying. The quicker I can get into justifying having to buy more equipment to meet that need, the better.
Right.
Sweet.
Would you reflect on 24 that you're gonna fix or conquer or perfect in 25?
I'm trying not to take any more projects on this year. Like I feel like I
personal projects.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Like houses
business,
and
business. With this business, like my time's getting well. By the time this video comes out, the software will be released. So I've been working on this company with the software.
Right.
I've been working on
Trailers.
the trailer side of the business. I'm also working on the franchise side of the business. That's a huge investment in my time, and that's been going on since April. So, and I think I'm done. I don't want to be. I think I need to focus on, like 4 different avenues, and that's it.
You've had the flip houses.
The flip houses.
The last few years have been pretty overwhelming, and on some of those.
And everything's been growing, and everything's been a money suck. You know what I'm saying? Time suck, money suck. The show is also huge. So my goal for this year for the show is to actually hire. No, not going to be a 5-day event. God Almighty. I actually reached out to, which is kind of cool. And I'll find out if we want to post it or not later on. But I actually reached out to a lady who was in charge of the limo shows back in the day. All the limo shows that I went to, she was literally in charge of it was called the LCT magazine, which was Limo Chauffeur Transportation magazine. They partnered with the NLA, which is National Limousine Association, and they would host their annual show. And I've known of her for years. And a buddy of mine that's in the limo industry, he's like, dude, why don't you just reach out to her? She's no longer with LCT. She no longer does the show. She has a company, and this is what she does.
Just event planning.
Event planning for shows.
Nice.
So that will, if I can secure that with her, we haven't talked any kind of details yet, but that will take so much time off because this was very time consuming.
Right.
Not only time consuming, it's also awkward for me sometimes to be kind of in between vendors that I don't work with or some that I do, and then some, the vendors that I work with, get butthurt. Yeah, I wouldn't have mentioned names, but yeah.
I'm saying everybody knows they were there.
And now I got, this new software. So, but yeah, it's like, everybody was always like, oh gosh, are you leaving this company? Because the show's separate. The show is its own entity. The show is its own, it's not generating revenue, but it hopefully down the road maybe it will. Right. But the show is its own thing. But to have me be in the
vendor list,
exactly, and to have me being the one to call people to be it was a lot. When I tell you, for me to say that it took up a lot of my time, that means a lot because I usually don't make a big deal about shit like that. But so to have somebody who's experienced, who can bring more to the table, as far as like. Hopefully more than enough to pay for her salary. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll bring in more revenue to pay at least for her salary. I don't need to make money off of the show. But I just want it to be big. I want it to be good for you and me. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be good for the attendees. I want it to be good for the vendors. That was my whole goal this year, was just to be, to give everybody enough value. So anyways, this is not a sales pitch, but that's something that I'm super excited for, to have more time on my plate.
Man, I hope he doesn't quit doing these because last year was good. Well, 23 was good. 24 was way really bigger, good. And it was awesome. Yeah, and so it's like it was kind of gaining momentum. I mean, anybody nationwide knows about the Lone-Star Showcase, and you've done it twice, right? So I was hoping you wouldn't be like, because I know it was a beating last year, right? And even though all of us were like, hey, let me know if I can do anything, and you never asked anybody, well, I'll let you know.
It's just so hard. Like,
not right.
It's not hard to give. It's not like it was a control thing. It was just hard to. Well, what can I do? What can I? Right. Like people called me nonstop. You know what I'm saying? Like vendors or I have no problem with that, but I was just getting nonstop phone calls and. It was anyways.
You can have too many irons in the fire. If you don't have people to delegate things to, and you're having to do it all on yourself. 4 or 5 things, you're talking max. I mean, you just can't devote enough time to do them all justice if you don't scale back,
Right.
or really concentrating on one or two or three or four things.
The show itself was a full-time job.
I imagine.
I'll leave it like that. The show itself was a full. Don't get me wrong. Keystone freaking stepped up. They take a lot off my plate that way. But I'm not an event planner. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not what I don't even plan my own kids' birthday parties. I think I've mentioned that before. To plan something like this is just. So I'm so happy if I can secure this lady. That'll be something taken off my plate.
So, but you did a good job, and I think you've probably learned a lot on
Yeah.
planning these events. So
I learned I don't want to do it no more.
2026.
I learned.
American AF event planning. No.
That's what I learned. I learned I don't want to do it again. I learned that it's not my forte. Like, it's,
Right.
like I said, just being in between people and awkwardness and stuff like that. That was one thing. But the show, the feeling of the show, the feeling of the camaraderie, the feeling of the people there, the friendships that we made, the nonstop shaking hands, bro, my cheeks hurt so much just from like those couple days that we were there, because it was a good feeling. So yes, I want to continue that, but I don't want to have to be the one to do
you
it
want
all.
to attend it. No,
Yeah.
that was the thing. Even like say the lives, for example, the same people we saw in there.
Yeah.
Ryan and Antrell, and all the guys that Anna Lee that we've talked to for weeks on there, or weeks, all year on there, to actually get to meet them, have dinner with them, joke around, and then for the weeks following, probably even some now, jokes that kind of came up at the showcase. We kept kind of the Modelo,
The beer cooler, all that stuff. Yeah,
but I mean, the stuff that keeps coming up from the showcase, like it kind of actually solidified those relationships that were just people online originally. So it's great for the community, for all the networking nationwide.
Yep.
That was really cool.
Yep. So
my biggest thing that I've learned for going into this year, I'm trying to work on, and my wife and I have talked about. I kind of brought it up in the last podcast too. Is I get an idea on something. That's when I'd ask you about the trailer stuff. Is I think of all the ways I can make money doing this. I know how to do this, and I can only be in one place at a time. And so I need to slow down and quit getting distracted by all the different ventures and avenues, like you were kind of just saying, less irons in the fire. And that's why I'm not even trying to grow, because like I said, I got more trucks and dumpsters. And I can't, even with one truck, I can't run all the dumpsters I have now just with my geographic location. I've already kind of tested that this year. So I'm going to try to slow down, not add any projects or services. That was my goal originally, was to add more services this year. And after reflecting on it since the last podcast, I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to calm down and perfect this one better. And it's funny, for as busy as I make myself for all the things I put on myself, I'm horrible at managing stress. I do not manage stress well. I'm not good with technology, so all my planning, everything is either written down or it's in my head. So I can get kind of unorganized, and so that's kind of, I'm starting 75 hard tomorrow to try to get my mindset, get better at staying on task, be organized, be intentional, and manage my time better. I need to figure out how to manage stress better this year. If I can't manage efficiently everything going on right now, I don't need to grow. I don't need to get bigger. I don't need to get busier if I can't handle what I've got.
Right.
So I'm going to use this year to kind of stabilize this operation, be efficient, figure out how to handle stress effectively, and just have a more solid foundation before I grow anymore.
Well, there's something to be said for being hyper-focused on just a few things versus, like I said, having too many irons in the fire. You're really able to dedicate the time and the energy and the thought process into dealing with just a few things, being consistent in areas that you really feel like it's going to really help you impact your 2025. And there's something definitely to be said for that, yeah. And getting those habits in place and getting those wins stacked. Billy Cox talks about this all the time, is stacking wins. So these small victories, these 3 or 4 different things that you really want to focus on your business, and getting that repetition and building those habits and stacking those wins is going to help you to your goals by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so there's something to be said for really hyper focusing on things.
So if I were to be laying on the couch right now talking to a therapist, I've never gone to a therapist, but if I would, and there's nothing wrong with that. If I was to be laying on the couch right now and talking to a therapist, the truth is, like, COVID taught me that I never want to have all my eggs in one basket. And I think I took it to the other extreme, because I always do things to the extreme for some reason. Like I went from, during COVID having one business, one stream of revenue, to trying to every idea I get, I kind of go off the wall. But it's enough. Now it's enough.
Yes, right.
Now it's like, okay, focus on what you've got. Put people in place that will be able to help you with your vision, and really, take on the next year and hit it hard. That's my goal.
One thing I've noticed, though, the difference because I understand that having your eggs all in one basket, because right now, I do dumpsters. That's it. But you had the limo company with COVID. After that, you did your liquidators. And then when you got into the house flipping and starting this, like, you had people that work for the limo company. You have contractors work on the house. Mm-hmm. You started doing the dumpsters. My problem is when I try to do stuff, it's because I can do it. And so I set myself up to where I have to do all the jobs, and that's not practical. Mm-hmm. If I was flipping houses, I grew up in construction. I remodeled our house. Me and my dad did. So I would think I needed to be over there working on the house while I'm also the driver for the dumpsters. I stretch myself too thin to where it's unrealistic. Mm-hmm. And that's why that's what she was pointing out. She's like, let's get this going. Once you get drivers, then you can add something, if you want to add a service. And I'm like, you're right. I need to quit. I put so much on myself. I stress myself out, and I don't manage stress well. So it's kind of a disaster.
So it's just like that book, The E-Myth. I know you've read it. I've read it. And it's just a point of working on the business rather than in it. It's very hard to scale your business if you're operating in your business and having to do everything.
That's where I'm at, and that's what I got. There's no sense. I know from this past summer, 14 dumpsters, one truck. Because of my location, I was running 14, 16 hours a day every single day. So by getting more dumpsters, I know I can't reasonably handle that myself. Mm-hmm. So that's where the second truck came in. So until I have somebody in that truck and I'm running the part-time spot, then maybe more dumpsters make sense if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
But right now, there's no sense in me buying anything else or growing. So I think this year's just me that really making sense. Get people in place. Get one or two drivers. Maybe I'm just driving when somebody calls in. We'll figure it out. But yeah, just really optimizing. What am I need to slow down? Like I said, a year and a half went 3 trucks, 20 cans, 1 driver. I think that was kind of quick, especially because I'm not in town. I'm not super busy. All my stuff is so far out. I probably went a little bit equipment heavy, and so now, that's this year's. I know that I got unorganized. We were talking earlier. I lost some dumpsters this summer because of the DRS deal, but I had to sit there and go back through stuff and try to figure out, okay, where's this dumpster at? It shows that I've got it, but it's not here.
I lost a couple too. I'll be right back.
Yep. Actually, I think we need to wrap it up.
Okay.
But yeah, just not being organized. I don't want to add to it. So that's this year, 2025. Get more professional.
Crank it down. All right. I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I was really glad that you started off with a yo.
All right, yo. Well, we won't end it with a yo.
No.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the notification bell.
That's it.
On American AF and
come on.
Texas Waste Removal.
I want him to say it.
In North Texas Waste Removal YouTube page, and then we gotta get Dylan to start up his own channel.
Yeah,
I actually have one.
There you go.
Make
sure
really?
You like his.
There's not a single video on there. I created one with good intentions and didn't do nothing. There's no videos. It exists though.
I'll comment on it.
We're done. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.